The Billionaire's Private Island. Billionaire Island Romance Series, Book 3, by Alessandra Bancroft. Narrated by Caitlin Elizabeth. Chapter 1. The Billionaire's Beauties.
Glad that's finally over,
Luke said to Petra with a sigh. While it was true that he was handsome, successful, smart, respected, and a billionaire, he'd still had a bad case of nerves telling 5 of the 10 women he'd had brought to his tropical paradise to go home. Sure, the girls all knew about each other, now, but he'd expected tears and tantrums. Petra snorted derisively, spinning her chair to face the screens filled with video feed of the 5 girls returning to their mansions. Over? Hardly. What's your itinerary for picking 2 out of the 5 you've kept? Luke looked at the screens thoughtfully. Any of these beautiful women would look amazing on his arm out in society, and he was pretty sure they'd steam up his nights as well. But only one of them would be the perfect companion with which to build his empire. He shook his head and concentrated. First, he needed to narrow the field down to 2.
I had fun with Pamela. Maybe something relaxing? A day exploring the caves on the south end of the island? She's an archaeologist. She'd like that,
Luke said, recalling that the cave in question had a sandy floor, perfect for a romantic picnic, and then hopefully some of the delightful British woman for dessert. Petra shook her head. A bit ordinary if you ask me. Luke glared at his assistant.
I didn't. Just set it up. Tell her to dress casual.
Petra rolled her eyes but dialed Pamela's house phone anyway. As she started getting everything together, Luke headed off for the gym. Maybe Sergio would approve heavier weights today since his back had been feeling much better since Una had worked her magic on it. He grinned at the memory. Una had magic in her hands, but her real spell was between those glorious thighs. He could still hear her beautiful voice in his ear, begging him to take it slow. He grinned, reliving the experience in his head once again.
He did not name you first. You are not first in his mind.
Helga inspected Svetlana head to toe, circling her and eyeing every garment. I am well aware. Svetlana snapped at her ex-KGB matchmaker. But I will be. Rest assured. The only thing I am assured of is that the organization will not tolerate failure. This is not one of your petty little millionaires, Svetlana. A multi-billionaire wants only the best, and that you must be. Helga dealt a vicious pinch to Svetlana's upper arm, nodding briskly when the younger woman didn't flinch. Svetlana eyed her coldly, adjusting the sleeves of her linen dress. I give plans. None of them involves failure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe I'll pay a little visit, she said. Chapter 2. Pamela and the Picnic. I think it's quite nice of Svetlana to invite us to dinner, Catherine, Pamela's matchmaker, said. I think she's a viper in Chanel clothing, but I'm not going to miss a chance to find out what she's up to, Pamela said. She touched her hair to make sure it was still in place, despite the brisk evening breeze. Svetlana's mansion was identical to her own as far as Pamela could tell, with the slight exception of the terrorized desperation on the faces of the servants. Well, she thought, at least I'm right thinking the woman's a horror.
So good of you to join us,
Svetlana said. Her voice was a low, sultry purr that had Pamela's hackles rising. Thank you for having us, Catherine chirped, seemingly oblivious to the undercurrents in the room.
You are both most welcome. Come, we'll talk. Perhaps you could give me an idea of what to discuss with such a commanding, domineering, and intellectual man. I'm rather at a loss, I must admit, Svetlana said. I've really been looking forward to this,
Luke said, smiling down at Pamela when she opened the door.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?